So yes, I can take him on walks in the neighborhood with a muzzle, but again, he's brachycephalic, which means he has a little bitty short face, he has trouble breathing. Putting him in a muzzle where he can't breathe, I can only keep him outside for a few minutes at a time. I can't take him to anyone's house that we know and trust because I'm not allowed to let him go to their houses without calling the county first. It puts him in a very odd position, and I feel mostly sorrowful for him because at 16 months old, he's now been labeled as a dangerous animal for an isolated incident with holes in it, and I can't even do anything to help him. So my request is I have no problem keeping my gates figured. The landlords changed our fence out so that the gates automatically shut, and we put locks. We'll keep all that. We'll keep the insurance just in the event that something was to happen. But I really, really ask that people give Wyatt a shadow of a doubt and let him continue to grow and learn and be trained and become a good family dog that he can be, and that he is when he's with us, and that he is when we have our landlords interact with him. Before the bite and when they were having to babysit him. So he's not a bad dog. Like I said, I have everybody's statements. I have the statement that my landlords wrote. They can tell you about it when they contacted animal control themselves, but that's basically where we're at. I'm sorry.
Okay, what specifically are you asking of us to change in this order?
I'm asking that he not be deemed as dangerous, that he be allowed to leave the house. And I will muzzle him if people want to during transit, but I ask that I be allowed to take him places, to my friends' homes, to my family's homes, without that dangerous label on him, so that I can continue to train him and so that he won't have any issues with people. So that he can get exercise, so that he can be a 16-month-old puppy.
Okay.
You keep referring to the fact that you're training him. What specifically are you doing? What's your daily or weekly regimen with him as far as training Wyatt goes?
So now he is kenneled. He stays kenneled when we're not home, just because we have dogs and that's the responsible thing in my eyes to do. He is not outside when we're not home. For the first couple of months we had him, we had the shock collar on him because he's a bulldog and they're thick-headed, as I'm sure you know. So we kept it mostly on vibrate. Okay, Wyatt come, Wyatt sit, Wyatt. Our dogs are trained on release commands. They won't leave the house, eat, do anything, stand up without a release command. So we were using that mostly because we knew we were on a time crunch with him, and that once this had happened, we knew that we had to be able to get him to, without zero doubt, that he was going to be a good boy. And if he ever did bite again or bit or went after anyone, we needed to be able to deal with it. So that was the most part in the beginning. Now we've got him, he's got his sit stays. He gives high fives. He catches treats when you throw him. He comes when he's called. You say, go to bed, and he goes straight in his kennel and sits down. You tell him it's time to go outside, he walks to the door and sits. When it's time to go for a walk, I get his muzzle, and he walks up and sits down and waits for me to put it on. So it's just behavior. Before the bite incident happened, it was when we were walking, I would make sure that he doesn't pull the leash. He had to stay right beside me. My two bigger dogs are off-leash trained, but obviously they can't always be running around off leashes. But so I know I probably won't be able to get him to that point because he is a bulldog and they're not German Shepherds, and he's here and there. But I made sure he had his leash manners. When we walk and people walk past us, he doesn't even acknowledge them now. He just keeps on trotting along, silly boy. So it's that.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I do. There were so many children's names mentioned. I'm not sure who's who. Who are your children?
Okay. She's mine. That's why I'm gonna ask if I can add something.
Okay,
about
but
what Mrs.
before you do
Rose-
that, so
Yes.
she's your only child?
Yeah, no, I got my son is 4.
What's his name?
Nicholas.
That's Nicholas. That's the
Yeah.
one who's jumping the fence?
He's going through the fence.
Going through the
He
fence.
can't climb the fence, but he does just stick his arms through it, and he's the one that when I have the dogs on leashes, he would run up at him and try and pet him, which he's 4 years old. Yes.
The other question I have, you alluded to her jumping your fence
They had.
or coming through your fence?
They had a friend Alejandro with them in their home that day that was jumping the fence.
But not her?
Not that I had seen. I knew that they would routinely come up to the fence, and my son and daughter, who have been caught in the middle of this, I witnessed them standing like this in front of the fence saying, you can't pet them.
But you've never seen
Back up."
her
Oh, yes,
jump
ma'am.
or come through your fence?
I have not seen them jump. I've seen them reach over and my son physically get between them and try and force
I'm
them
asking
back.
about her. Have you seen her come through your fence?
Layla, ma'am, or Ashanti?
Layla. You're Layla, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen Layla come through your fence?
I've seen her over the fence.
Over the fence.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's Christine Pearson? So you've had problems with, using your own words, the neighborhood hoodlums?
Yes.
What have you done to address that? Have you
well-
spoken to county police?
I'm sorry, I
or
didn't hear
taken
the question.
anything in
What
those
was the
directions?
question?
I'm sorry, were you done?
Yes, I didn't
Yeah,
hear your question.
Just repeat your question.
So I was asking about the hoodlums that she mentions in her narrative. Has she done anything with the county police to address that, or any other?
Well, I don't know which child is which, so I wouldn't know who to even refer them to. He's the landlord, I'm his wife, and when they've been out of town, we've come over to check on the property. They're required to let us know if they're gonna be gone for more than a certain amount of time. And when checking on the property, more than once, I've seen one of the children, I'm not sure which one is which, there are a lot of them in the area, in the yard. And excuse me, who are you and why are you in the yard? They're not home, you know, you come to someone's front door, which is not part of the fenced area, you don't just walk in the yard, and then they run off. So I'm not sure, if I was to call the police, I don't know what, I didn't bother because I didn't know what they'd be able to do, because, you know, I don't know where they're going, they're just jumping other people's fences and, you know, running through yards, so it's hard to tell which way they're going.
Okay.
But,
My name is Guy, I'm the homeowner. We're exploring camera options as well.
Yeah.
The new generation Wi-Fi cameras become available in August. They're motion detector cameras that attach to the Wi-Fi, so you don't need wiring. They should be available in August. I'm looking at those because the front door keyhole cameras, from what I'm reading, the ratings online, they are slow to react to people coming. So if someone runs up to your door, it takes too long to take a picture. So I'm looking at cameras.
Are you talking about something like Ring?
Like that?
The Ring one, yes. The one from the front doors, I've heard that they're slow to react if somebody comes up to your door. You usually get the back side of somebody as they're walking away. The Wi-Fi cameras, the ones that just hook up wirelessly to your network, and those ones become available in August.
And Ms. Barnett, you said a couple of times you found some of the neighborhood children in your secured backyard, actually on your back porch?
I found
in the
the-
Florida room?
Sir, the one time they were in the Florida room, there were other times that they had been in the yard.
Okay.
And it was the same thing. I'd walk out and say, what's going on? And kids just jump and run.
yeah.
And have you done anything with the authorities to try and quell that or address that?
Before this event happened, no, I'm from the middle of bum nowhere, Texas. We all get along. We take care of ourselves and mind our own business. So I wasn't trying to get people in trouble. I wasn't trying to get the cops involved. Since this happened, I spoke with Major Simpson. I spoke with Deputy Chief Cramp, I think I'm saying that right, on the phone, and they had both advised, start calling the cops. Don't try and be the nice neighbor, just call the cops.
Okay.
Which is why that last time I finally I gave up and had to call somebody, and we thankfully have not had incidents with kids coming over, digging through, reaching through the fence since then. So that's been a couple weeks now.
Prior to this, have you talked to any of the children's parents?
No, I had talked to Layla, that was it, because she was always the one that seemed to be responsible for Nicholas. She was always the one with him outside. I'd never even seen the parents at that point.
Okay, so you're having these kids come in your backyard, get onto your back porch, and you just address it with the children, not their parents, and it's happened several times.
The little
Is that
boy
right?
who was in the Florida room, I talked to his mother specifically,
Okay.
and I have her phone number, and I had given it over in my initial statement. And her answer was that he has done this before, and she has told him not to.
Okay.
But he doesn't live on our street, so I don't see him often.
Understood.
Yeah, Nancy, this is just my closing statements and stuff like that, and understanding with all the testimony that we heard today, and I'm not saying that Mrs. Barnett is not gonna make, efforts to try to not let this happen again. The only thing that I wanna add as far as fact, okay, is one, we have no evidence to show that any of the kids opened up the gate, okay? We know that, both parties, we know this, okay? Understanding the circumstances of what happened prior to that. When I actually did my investigation and stuff, and I spoke to Mrs. Barnett, okay, understanding that I know her and stuff, there was stating that we had clips on the gates, okay? Clips kids can remove, okay? So when we issued the order and everything, one of the things that was brought up, the fact that we could allow a 6-foot privacy fence that could be put on the yard, okay? That would prevent seeing in, out, no hands going to the fence and stuff like that. And then out, the fact that she put padlocks on the gates, okay? So if kids are gonna go into the yard and understand that's trespassing, we understand all of that, okay? My point in the beginning, okay, and I'm not saying that the dog can't be trained and he can't be corrected and he can't become a great dog. My thing was, in the beginning of this whole investigation, was yes, her bite was severe, and yes, she is now scarred for life, okay? Is the dog ran off the property, grabbed a hold of her and wouldn't let go of her. We know that for a fact that the dog has this propensity because of the fact that I spoke to the original rescue that stated that he did. Grabbed a hold of 17-year-old shoe and wouldn't let go of it. Took his shoe off, okay? My concern is that you knew that the dog was aggressive and had a problem with children's feet. She clearly stated that. She had clips on the gates. If the kids were constantly coming to the yard and coming in and out of the yard, climbing the fence or whatever they may and opening up the gate because there's a clip there, okay? You had to let animal control now tell you to put padlocks on your gates, okay? We also could have prevented anything that's happening in the future right now that's being stated, what Ms. Barnett is saying about the kids still getting into the yard and everything and getting into her, back area where her porch is, okay? We gave you the option that you could have built a stockade fence, okay? That would have corrected this immediately. If a kid's gonna climb a 6-foot privacy fence, then obviously he is in the wrong and we need to address his parents, okay? That's when I could say the county police should be going out to the property, all right? But that's my whole closing argument stuff. Granted, he's getting the training he needs, and that's great, okay? I always say training is an ultimate thing as far as coming with dogs, especially with bulldogs, understanding they are a hard-headed breed. My concern is that something still needs to stay in place. Dogs can revert, okay? I don't want to see that happen. I want to be able to the kids, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way. The kids should be able to play in the yard, running up down the street, screaming, hollering, throwing balls, whatever the kids do, okay, and not have to worry about the fact that he could get out, okay? My point is the fact now we have a locking mechanism on the gate, okay? If it was there in the beginning or a padlock, understanding that you knew the fact that the dog had aggressive tendencies and with kids' feet, why didn't you have it there in the beginning? This would have been prevented, okay? My whole thing is that she didn't go up there, and try to unlock a gate or open it up, okay? We don't know what child did it. We have no evidence under any circumstances in my file, in my extra investigation, and taking other officers off the, and going out there and speaking to all these parents and all these kids of anybody opening up that gate. Dog still ran off the property, saw her, went straight to her and grabbed hold of her foot and wouldn't let go of her. Not better once, better twice. Grabbed both feet, okay? I'm not saying he's going to do it again, but can it happen? Sure, dogs can revert. Whatever you decide to do today, the only thing that I basically ask is that just look at the facts here, not the fact that understanding what's happening now in the future. It's now corrected, okay? My point is that I'm hoping with these things in place, and not necessarily the whole thing, but some of these things that can be to a young place. We're talking about one was a 17-year-old kid. I don't want to see that happen. I want to see the dog basically go into the straight and narrow. She has the skills to do it, but I still want something placed at the property because now we still have something here that we're dealing with as far as a chain link fence, which we did allow, okay? When we do have the automatic shuts on the gates and stuff, we do have a locking mechanism now where a kid can't actually physically open up a clip and open up the gate. So he has to physically climb over, okay? I understand it. If something would happen in that aspect, obviously Wyatt's not at fault, okay? We're dealing with a child that's climbing a fence, but we have the ability where the kid can't open the fence. My whole thing is, like I said, we did give them the option to put a stockade fence where nobody can see in, dog can't see out, okay? They decided to keep, the chain link fence, something about what the landlord can use to put the 6-foot privacy fence. It could be a money issue. We gave them a couple other options and stuff like that, which we normally don't put in orders, but we did give a little bit of everything, okay? Possibly keeping the dog even away from that fronted area where that gate is and where that fence is facing the road, okay? It didn't work, okay? We obviously came to this agreement and everything. The only thing is that I think that, whatever you decide to do today, whether you're lowering it or something, some of these stipulations still need to stay in place. That's just my professional opinion.
Are the revisions that you're mentioning in the revised dangerous order?
Yes, the revision is basically the 4-foot chain link fence with the automatic. Now, when I did my original, it's for my first inspection, they did have the automatic gate clips. Okay, and what they are, you actually put them in. When you open up the gate, it's going to slam shut. Okay, it's almost like a hydraulic. In the beginning, when we did it, she had the bungee cords and stuff. We allowed it because it was still a mechanism that if you opened it, it's going to slam shut. Okay, we did say basically have the padlocks on both gates, which she did. She passed her inspection.
Are they in compliance now?
They're still in compliance.
What is the objection to the 6-foot fence?
Well, mainly they're military, and at any point she could get orders, and it's a rental property. We've already had to do several upgrades to the property due to damage, and as far as we're concerned, no, like flooring, microwave went up. We only have a certain amount in our budget to do upgrades to the property, and we're pretty much at that point. We're looking into camera systems because that's a little bit less expensive than putting a 6-foot fence all the way around the property. Because we'd also have to figure out how to do, we'd have to have someone out to mark the property lines and everything else, and we looked into it, it's several $1,000s.
Okay.
So.
Okay, does anyone have any other questions, comments?
Nancy, she does want to add something.
Yes.
I have 2 things to tell you. First, about the dog and the screaming that they heard. It was actually that me and my cousin was doing some calculating outside. I saw the dog, so I thought it would be a bad feeling if something bad happened. So I told her, can we throw the trash inside? So she told me to come with her, and we threw the trash, and that's when the dog started barking, and we got scared, so we screamed and went inside. And about the person who's opening the gate, I was the only person in my house, so I looked straight on the sidewalk to check if my cousin was coming out, and I saw everybody, so technically, I never saw nobody open the gate.
Okay. All right. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Officer Thomas, should I send them with statements from the man who can be here?
All right, Ms. Barnett, the Animal Control Commission has come to unanimous decision, and the decision of the commission is to drop the revised dangerous order to a potentially dangerous order, with the fencing requirement maintained as Animal Control has it right now. Okay, so, any questions?
Just the one extremely tacky question. If I was told that if it was dropped that I would be refunded the money for him being deemed as dangerous, and how do I go about that?
That's something you can address with Angel administratively.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, sir. And then, can I get my notarized letter back?
Nancy, do you have a notarized letter I brought back?
No, I don't. I don't.
We don't.